Welcome to episode 41 of Winging It. It's 100 years of Selhurst Park. And unlike the District Line on the way to Chelsea this weekend, we're ahead of schedule and coming to your ears an entire day early. Mainly because I got to go and see a two-piece band with a drummer and some guy playing trombone tomorrow. So,
the craft beer of the gig world.
Oh, well, talking of craft beer, let's get
Rusty
into
trombone?
it. Rusty trombone. I knew it was coming. I just knew it. Set it up, you finish it off. No, I've got just a Het Cat from Gypsy Hill.
Slamming
Standard. Slamming it.
Slamming it this week.
What did you get from the fridge? Yeah.
I've got grapes, seedless.
Yeah. Enjoying them in the book. Go on.
Oh, they're great. I'm so sorry. And let me just use the new mute function that we've all found, a.k.a. the space bar. And I've got a can of Speroni. Fucking hell. Peroni.
Indoctrinated.
So bloody palace, me.
Hesketh, you're on the CBDs.
Yeah, I am on the CBDs. Albert will love the flavour of my CBD drink.
Sweet
Lemon
Mary Jane?
Yeah, that. And lemon and basil.
Fucking hell.
It's very nice.
Help.
I'm vibing. It's all good.
I'll tell you what I think's been on the CBDs this week. Newcastle fans.
Oh, fucking hell. They need you now.
Complete and utter. They've lost their heads completely over Gay. What was the Chronicle saying?
That
CBD's really kicked in.
It is, yeah.
I've got a mouthful of grapes. Hesketh's off his nut. Episode 41 might not be a vintage year.
This is why we don't record a day early, because we need a full week to prepare.
Did I not tell you Tuesday night is grape night for me, and I'm not willing to bend on that for anybody.
Yeah. So the Chronicle has written an article about Mark Gay and how Crystal Palace are basically a joke of a club, impossible to deal with, and that they hope that we lose out on millions on him for being greedy. Is that about the long and short of it?
Yeah, I mean, that is the short of it, because they've written so much, these people, about all sorts, like any crazy thing you can think of to make them the good guys and us the absolute villains of the piece. They've said it. They've written it.
In all fairness to some Newcastle fans, there was quite a lot underneath these posts being like, the Chronicle's out again writing nonsense. I did see one Newcastle fan say, now we've got to put up with this, another pointless Twitter rivalry because of this. But yeah, it's, they've really lost the plot. They've got too many fans in prominent writing positions, I think, who have got a bit too emotional about the whole situation.
Too emotional. They've had too much Nuki Brown bitter. Beer joke. Harsh.
And they probably wouldn't have been helped if they watched Nketiah's first day at Palace video, which in itself had a lot of questions when someone paused the screen with the date on the TV in the background to show that it was actually the night we were recording the last pod.
Yep.
Deliberating whether Nketiah was coming or not. He was already in the building that day. And still not in time to play for against Chelsea on the weekend. That is a bit bizarre.
It is. I did wonder when I watched it, because there's a point where he meets Will Hughes, who comes and says hello, and he was like, "You played really well yesterday." And I was thinking, what?
Yeah. It said to Ebbs, that weren't your goal last night. So I think that was the giveaway at the start. But it was hilarious with the whole, he sees Mark Gay. Have you got him in chains? And then he's telling his own dad to handcuff him.
Don't let the Newcastle journalists see that, for God's sake.
No.
Yeah, they would have lost the plot. Yeah.
Speaking of Newcastle, breaking news that someone's just texted me. Blackpool have just confirmed Steve Bruce as their new manager.
Yep.
That's weird.
Cool.
That's it. That's the tweet.
What league are they in?
League One?
Wow.
Yeah. Too high a league to be appointing Steve Bruce.
It's still part of me is gutted from back in the day when he left us.
Yeah, that was probably... when was that?
2003? 2002?
Earlier, 2001.
Earlier, yeah.
It was
2001.
0102 season, or 102.
I would say, I know we're about to do memories, but obviously it's not Selhurst specific. I'd say that was my first big Palace heartbreak. Heartbreak's probably harsh. Major Palace drama, I would say. 15, I would have been 15, 16. I'd seen us obviously get relegated from the Premier League. I'd seen us lose the playoff final to that twat with no shin pads. But Steve Bruce just ducking out was big drama.
Yeah, it really was.
Who's laughing now?
Not Blackpool.
Not Blackpool. Interesting news coming out of the Adam Wharton camp. He's withdrawn from the under-21 squad after not making England squad. But Oliver Glasner's talked about his body struggling a little bit and that he's got a bit of a persistent groin problem. There were some comparisons to Gerrard around the same age as well of just having troubles with his body. So it's good that he's withdrawn, Hesketh, and that he's going to have a bit of a rest because he hasn't had one, has he?
No, that's it. I was actually saying when he got called up to 21s that I wish we'd do a bit of in inverted commas, big club thing of saying, he's got a little knock, pull him out of the squad. Because, England under 21s friendly you don't need to play in that. And, like you said, obviously he went to the Euros, he didn't play, but he would have been training every day and, that takes a lot. So with someone whose body, I guess, is still developing, you don't want to push him when you don't have to. And he's a really important player for us, isn't he? So, yeah, him leaving the 21 squad is absolutely fine by me.
I'll continue to drink much more beer. My body will continue developing, just sort of like outwards from the midriff.
Any stiffness in your groin?
No, not yet.
Well, it's early days.
Yeah.
I've been married 7 or 8 years now.
Which is it?
It's 7.
Oh, he's still not sure.
He's counting on his fingers.
I am sure.
Hesketh's off his nut on CBD. You ask him, he'll say banana or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Steve Bruce.
I've been married 7, and I reckon Hesketh's 8 this December, or 9 this December. 8?
8 this December. Yeah, very good.
Part-time.
No, he's better than mine. And do you know why? Because it was the day Will scored that thunderbolt against Hull in the 3-3 draw.
Yes, it was. Excellent memory.
And I also think my wife's sister might have got married that day as well, or something like that.
Oh, shit, she did as well, yeah.
Anyway, that's enough about family histories. We'll get more onto history later when we talk about Selhurst Park. But first, should we talk about Chelsea?
Yes, please.
Wharton, Doucouré, the block from Fofana. It's Eze! It's brilliant! A top-class finish from the England international, Ebere Eze. And Palace are level at Stamford Bridge.
Now, this review is going to go really well, Hesketh, considering that Monday night at about 9 p.m, Albert messages in the group, "Fuck me, I've just seen Eze's goal."
Explain yourself.
I'm single parenting at the moment, thank you very much. And was all prepared to go to the game on Sunday and couldn't go. And I tried to stay awake for match of the day 2 and I fell asleep. So yes, I only saw the goal yesterday watching match of the day 2 on the red button. Thank you very much.
I was delighted by your tweet of one Chelsea ticket available, collection from Hertfordshire.
Yep. Well, on Saturday it was going for £30. Now it's going for 25. If anybody's interested.
Yeah, Hesketh said he just had pictures of you standing in your doorway, waving it at anyone who walked by.
I probably could have walked down the road and probably found a Chelsea fan if they fancied slumming it in the away end.
What was interesting about getting there, it was hot. It was a hot day.
Hot day.
And so a lot of people wearing sunglasses. And if you got to the door of Chelsea wearing sunglasses, you were made to take them off. So the bouncers, security guards, stewards, whatever, could see behind the lenses.
Why?
Well, I think it tells you at some point someone has, I don't know, sellotaped some bags of goodies to the back of their sunglasses.
Quavers?
Yeah, exactly.
Of a sort.
Sherbet, I think.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. Take
Surely you can't
off.
see.
Well, maybe that was a giveaway. Kept pointing them to one queue, but they were going into the other line.
Just walking into the turnstile.
Who's this geezer sniffing and walking into the wall like he's in Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, so hot on the heels of Brentford going through my wallet like, they were searching for money underneath the couch or in between the couch. We've now got Chelsea checking the back of sunglasses. So
fair enough.
What did you do with it? Did you get rid of it or?
You idiot. Well, I actually had a sunglasses case, a hard clip-open sunglasses case, and they didn't even look at it. So they're checking behind people's sunglasses.
Why is that bloke wearing a pair of sunglasses over his arsehole?
Oh, get out of it. So how much of the game you saw? You've seen Match of the Day too?
I saw Match of the Day too, thanks very much.
Great. So you've got the salient points of the match, which is basically
1-1, isn't it?
What a fucking legend Dean Henderson is.
Oh.
Yeah, great performance.
I've had to withhold receipts. I was going to post receipts from many, many people who have been arguing with me, telling me we got rid of the wrong goalkeeper. There's been many people, you know who you are. You know who you are. And
is one of them Sam Johnston?
And yeah, I'm just delighted to see Dean Henderson have such an incredible game. No more than that tip onto the crossbar, Albert, in the first half.
Yeah, fantastic. And one of several amazing saves. He did the very flamboyant acrobatic saves like that. Who was it? He came out to sort of do the double save, smothered the ball in the second half.
Oh, against Jackson.
Was that Jackson? Yeah. Really, really good performance. Like I say, I could only say I saw highlights, but I'm assuming that that was the sum of it. It looked very impressive.
Yeah, it was a decent distribution game as well, of which a lot of it was tossing the ball up to the flank for Munoz to challenge Cucurella, and I think Munoz won about 13 out of 14.
Yeah, it was a great tactic because it worked. We had said that his distribution maybe is something that needs improvement. But if that's the sort of thing that works and he can ping it to Munoz's head every time, all good, man.
85,000 fucking players in that squad, and Cucurella still starts every game.
Yeah.
Well, he got booed basically every single touch, but that also meant Colwill, Caicedo, and Sanchez all got away with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, booed every single touch and didn't have a great grade. But Chelsea, much better team in the first half. Madueke was pushed onto the crossbar by Henderson. He pulled one wide just before that. But then really, really benefited from Will Hughes being on a yellow card to skip away from him down the right in setting up the goal. Hesketh, another counter-attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously frustrating. Gay had sort of gone up to join the attack and didn't get a pass back, or it was intercepted. You say normally, obviously you get cover. The cover, unfortunately, is already booked Will Hughes, who is not the fastest at the best of times anyway. But you could see there was he definitely would have just shoved the bloke over if he wasn't on the booking, and you could see him stop himself.
Didn't stop him later.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was a pretty quick attack, to be fair, and actually from our vantage point, because you and I were stood near each other, I actually really thought Henderson was going to get just a little touch to it as he went down, and he just didn't. He just missed it, and obviously an easy tap in, but a shame, frustrating, because I think any other game, if there was someone not in the booking, he would have just had him over, and that would have been it. But I guess that's what happens when you're centre half. You're going to have that sort of risk when your centre half steps up way into the opposition area.
And in the aftermath of the goal, we had the scary sight of Dean Henderson staying down and Remy Matthews running up and down the sideline, putting in some hardcore stretches.
Punch in the air.
But Dino got back up and then turned in a fantastic game. I think Glasner in his post-match even joked about it, saying sometimes a knock's good for you, but really did inspire a great performance out of him. But it was a good example, though, of things we haven't done in the league yet this season, which was scoring when you're on top. Chelsea, really good example of it there, where they had a really strong 5-minute period where they strung a few attacks together and they put one of them in the back of the net. So really, really clinical. And, you got to worry at that point that we weren't really in the game. It gets to half-time at 1-0. And you kind of, everyone at this stage is talking already that we've got to get Will Hughes off the pitch because he's on a yellow. He's already struggling a bit. Got to get him off and get Decore on. Glasner, again, in his post-match said it would have been my fault if Hughes got sent off because we talked about it at half-time but didn't make the decision then. And then Palmer goes down. What do you think, Albert? Do you think it's should have been a second yellow? Would you be pissed off if it was against us?
I'd have been fuming if that was against us. It's a second yellow all day long. I think if it was on the halfway line, I think you can say final warning, but it's for all intents and purposes it's almost in the area. So I was I know he doesn't get sent off, so I'm watching the highlights with the benefit of knowing that he ain't getting sent off. But I was very, very stunned to see that. I think we got away with one there. But how many times has it happened against us?
Or Hesketh, I put it to you, does Palmer go down looking for it and that's why Hughes has got away with it?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I mean, we all, like you said, we all said at half-time, it'll just take him off because he's on a booking and he did put in a tackle at the end of the first half, which wasn't a booking, but you're like, okay, that's it. As soon as you see him trotting out in the second half, we were like, oh, but I mean, obviously, gave away that free kick. Can't believe he hasn't been sent off. Henderson makes a good save from the free kick. And then
the manager reacts quickly.
And we get to see a midfield of Wharton and Decore, which was fun.
And
who was it against Arsenal at Selhurst? Was it Coquelin?
Guendouzi? No, Guendouzi was at the Emirates.
No, this was years ago. Still in the Premier League. I'm sure it was. Yeah, and Wenger, I think Wenger was still there. Yes, I think it was Coquelin, just doing everything he could to get a second yellow, and there was like the most blatant foul, and it was like, and then they instantly subbed him, and it just to really rub salt in the wound. Yeah. But now we're big time, so we're doing that to Chelsea.
Yeah,
yeah. No,
how good was it? How good was it to see Decore? What did you make of his performance, Terence?
Yeah, excellent. I still only slight negatives is that he looked a bit slow. I know it was hard. It's obviously he's coming back from injury. He's not I'm hoping it's just ring rust and whatever. But at certain points, I think it looks a bit slow. But it might also just be the fact that Chelsea is just full of pace. They're just rapid across the pitch, and which kind of, in a way, has turned them into long ball merchants a bit, because they're just trying to pull your line up and get Jackson in behind with the pace. But there's a couple of times, in the middle, he got passed around a bit easy, but on the ball, he just, he won the ball back. Him and Walton really close together a lot of the time, working as a team together, and he was really brave on the ball in a few scenarios, and beat that first line of the press and set up attacks along the way. So, I think he completely changed the game.
Sorry, I don't want to delve through history, but I wasn't on the subsequent pod. Just talking to bookings, I don't think you touched on it. I did listen to the pod I wasn't on. Paquetá come tearing out the wall when we had that free kick around the 82nd minute. Anyone? And then screaming in the referee's face. Anyone?
Yeah, as I said, he's never beaten the allegations, mate. As I posted up a tweet saying it was like the famous Zaire player in the 1974 World Cup. Who just
I love that.
Runs out and just levers the ball clear. I mean, I don't know what... Wharton did touch that free kick very, very slightly. But I think that the rule, the written down rule, is the ball has to clearly move. And I'm assuming that means some sort of revolution of some kind or whatever, not just your foot brushing it. But the free kick that then followed, they did do a little short free kick. So they were definitely trying to do something. So, in the, watching it back, Paquetá was probably right to go after it, to be honest. And maybe the ref let him away with it because he knew, or because he'd forgot to put a ton on it.
Yeah, shit. What minute is it? No, I haven't got this one.
Anyway, so Decore comes on, changes the game, and it's, as we heard in the commentary, it ends up being Wharton driving into the box, finding Decore on the edge of the box. He hits a block. Loads of great Chelsea blocks on the day. I mean, a lot of people were talking about the expected goal difference, saying it backed up Marquez's view that Chelsea should have won the game comfortably. Eye test would have told you very differently, that we were in loads of great positions and just Chelsea defended really, really well to get loads of blocks in, but not this time. Eze with an absolute beautiful, sumptuous, gorgeous curler into the far corner. Some great videos doing the rounds as well from the away end, Hesketh.
Yeah, it was. If ever you've seen a goal described as being caressed, that shot was caressed into the net. It was just the perfect hit straight into the side netting, keeper no chance, down our end as well. And there's a great photo just after the goal of Ebbs sort of looking like, no big deal, do it all the time. And Decore looking like he's having the best day of his life. That's the thing, because I don't think Ebbs was particularly good in the first half. I was getting a little bit frustrated, but like we all know, if he can come out and bang goals like that in, can't really complain too much. And I think, it was early on in the second half, but I think our second half display really deserved the goal. We played a lot higher, took a few more chances. I think Kamada was starting to get his sort of passing range in. Sarr looked all right when he came on. So it's just sort of one of those where we deserved the goal, and to go into the international break with a point, although I think we should have more based on our performances, it's nice for that point to be away at Chelsea, against a team that we haven't beaten in 13, 14 games, whatever it is.
Yeah, 13 straight losses.
Yeah. So it sort of feels like, obviously not a win, but it feels good to get a point there and now sort of say like, okay, we're off the board, we're off the ground, and our season's going now.
Yeah, they shouldn't have sold Conor Gallagher, you see. That was their undoing. But what was interesting after, of course, is there's some great pictures from Seb, as always, with Eze pointing up into the stands and whatever. And then loads of Palace players start commenting underneath, including new player, Chelsea loanee Shabala, and immediately Chelsea fans are all over him, so he ends up having to delete his post underneath because it was a bit of a Benteke Sacco moment at Liverpool. So he's deleted that. But then Tyreek Mitchell, and I completely missed it, just wrote, "Don't piss him off," or something like that. Don't piss him off?
Yeah.
And then there is another picture later on from Seb where I think it's Nicholas Jackson's grabbing Eze, and then all of a sudden the next picture, Tyreek Mitchell was just in his face, just screwing him hard. And I was like, that time when he squared up to Lamptey, yeah, exactly. Hesketh's holding it up to the screen here, the picture. That time he squared up to Lamptey and threw him on the ground for Brighton, and everyone was like, "Oh, it was like the Battle of the Dwarfs or whatever." This time, Nicholas Jackson's not a small guy, and he didn't back down either, straight up in his face. So
yeah, it's funny actually. During the game, I didn't notice it during the game, but Vanessa did. She was like, "Oh, Jackson sort of grabbed Eze and just sort of pulled him round, and Eze's just trying to piss off or whatever."
Yeah,
didn't really think anything more of it, and then saw that picture of Ty on his birthday. He didn't want his birthday ruined. And there's also a picture of Gay as well, giving Jackson a look, just like, "Come on, mate, you know it's not happening."
Yeah, shout out to Gay with some shithouse of time wasting, which is kind of, I felt like it was revenge for Conor Gallagher doing it there last season.
Yeah,
when Gay went to pick him up and drag him off the pitch. But Albert, Gay goes down injured, or maybe with cramp or something like that. But he goes down, and ref stops play. Players go over to him. Ref goes over to him. Ref waves on the physio, and then who is it? What Palace player's waving him back off?
Henderson waved him off.
Henderson's going, "Get off!" Then the ref's talking to Gay, and he's going, and the ref waves him back on, and Henderson's like, "No, get off." And then it all nothing happens, and Gay looks like he's getting up, and then he just goes back down, and then they wave the physio on again. I mean, all of this resulted.
Physio, I feel sorry for.
It's all resulted in 8 minutes of stoppage time, so could have backfired in the end, but we got through it, as we know. And you've described the save earlier, which Henderson makes right at the end. But not forgetting Kamada's chance actually, where.
Yeah, that's a good hit.
Sanchez almost spills it in the goal, which I think shows you either side of him, it would have been a goal.
Yeah, he didn't really know anything about it, for sure.
Another great example of, and long may it continue, of that cut back to the edge of the box, finding Palace players crushing the box, I think they call it these days, with a late run being completely unmarked. Kind of nice that it was at Stamford Bridge, because it was very Frank Lampard-esque in that sense. But if you think we did it against Norwich, there was one like that. Did we score from one like that when it was cut back? Oh, my memory's going. So, there looks like to be a definite plan now when we've got the ball in wide areas and finding crosses, which is, I guess, something we've worked on over the summer. So Mateta making those runs, good runs themselves, taking defenders away, and then the late run opening it up. So really promising to see, and hopefully it'll bring a lot of goals this year. But yeah, hold on for the 1-1, end the 13-game losing streak against them, which, again, Glasner said after the game, "I'm glad no one told me that before." A bit more charisma being added to his post-matches now. That's probably in aid of my sister, who said, "I love everything he's doing, but he bores me." So I think he's doing it for her benefit, to be honest. Yeah. The only thing left to say is Chelsea after the game tweeting, "Your support was immense today," to the Chelsea home fans, which, I mean, unless they got confused and thought our fans were the Chelsea fans. I mean, at one point, we were the loudest I've heard us in a long time.
Yeah, we were saying what a good atmosphere we thought it was from the away end, anyway.
Yeah. Especially about that 10 minutes after the goal was just deafening. People just everywhere. If you wanted to talk to someone around you, you had to go really close to their ears and be shouting in them still, because it was just incredibly loud.
Didn't come across on Match of the Day 2.
What?
Didn't come across on Match of the Day 2.
Yeah, it doesn't come up on the subtitles. But no, great afternoon. As Hesketh's already said, great to get the point before we go into the international break. Going in with 3 losses, would have been fantastic. Yeah, and then as it was, everyone seems to be was trying to latch on to that Elise stat of how many wins Glasner has without Elise. Kind of reminds me of that Zaha one from back in the day.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We'll see. But yeah, brilliant afternoon. And takes us into Leicester after the international break with some confidence.
Nobody clap Jordan Ayew.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the tweet of Leicester announcing, one of the tweets of Leicester announcing Odsonne Edouard? And he's in the Leicester shirt, and they're like, blue suits you, Edouard. And everyone's like, do they think Edouard is his first name?
I actually did notice that.
It's got Odsonne on the back. They're just making grave errors, yeah.
Edward Edouard.
Eddie Edward Edouard. Right. That's Chelsea. Should we talk about 100 years of Selhurst Park?
God, I ain't got that long.
I ain't got that long. Right. Before we get started, have a listen to this.
Palace now.
For the first time in 6 years, they beat Burnley 2-0 to take the Second Division Championship. Afterwards, thousands of supporters swarmed across the pitch to congratulate them. Chris Jameson saw them do it.
Crystal Palace attacked without success till well into the second half. A goalless draw would have brought promotion, but not in style. Then, from the wing, Vince Hilaire found the head of Ian Walsh, and Selhurst Park sensed a real victory. There could have been another goal moments later. Burnley's defence couldn't clear. Number 8 Murphy went in, but this time the ball went agonisingly past the line. The crowning goal came from a midfield break. Burnley seemed to fall apart as Dave Swindlehurst, Palace's top scorer, added one more to his tally. And then it was all over. Palace were going up. They'd won promotion back to the First Division after an absence of 6 years. For once, a crowd invasion might have seemed justified. All 50,000 fans wanted to see their team, and in particular, their manager, Terry Venables, who's brought success to South London out of a team that cost next to nothing. Chris Jameson, ITN Sport.
Eldrick leading it. To Pemberton. As he picked up the ball, I saw him now. How long? No. I think there's about 3 minutes left as McGoldrick turns it in! That's made it sure now! That has made it absolutely clear for Crystal Palace with that goal from Ian Wright. The fans are on. In one sense, it's not over. In another... Going for Freeman up curl. Freeman shot! A wonderful goal by Dougie Freeman. And with 2 minutes remaining, Crystal Palace lead by 2 goals to 0. Linnigan's header is loose. Roberts with the shot. Maxwell cut for Jamie Smith. He's pulled up back. And away goal for Wolves in the final minute. It's Jamie Smith's first ever goal for Wolves. Crystal Palace free kick. Linnigan is there. There's a flag up here. Referee. Now, Crystal Palace celebrate. And the goal stands. And the Wolves players have come to the linesman on the near side. And play just stopped there for a moment. What an extraordinary finale. Dougie Freeman again. Gray. Johnson. Good work from Andrew Johnson. Yes! They're back in front again for the second time in this match. And Andrew Johnson, with his 32nd of the season, brings Palace their reward. Very often in recent years tended to be the end point of Wolves' FA Cup run. Butterfield's in again! Hat-trick! Night of his life! It is the perfect hat-trick for Danny Butterfield. One with his head, one with his right, one with his left. 3-0 Palace.
Delaney deflected and in. Oh, and that's hit the goal difference back for Liverpool. Mignolet, no chance. Oh, and Bolasie is the right man for Palace here. He might take them all on. He's a real sprinter, Yannick Bolasie. Gale in the middle, Murray in the middle. Here's Gale! They've got another one back. Palace 2, Liverpool 3. Dwight Gale.
Look at the pace and power of the lads. This late in the game, Glenn Johnson knew he had no chance. What a finish that is from Dwight Gale.
Palace have opened the gates really in their desire to pick up what will be a remarkable point. And here's Gale who can get it! 3-3 from 3-0 down, 2 of them to Dwight Gale. It's an amazing night at Selhurst Park. Liverpool have caved in.
Well, it's a quite incredible comeback, isn't it?
Townsend, the goal scorer. Zaha. Kabay! Oh, what a goal by Kabay! Crystal Palace 2, Arsenal 0.
Well, you can't say they don't deserve it. They've come out of the traps in this second half, and they've been even more dominant, and Arsenal have been even worse. Elise, Wharton, Mateta. Oh, Casemiro loses out all too cheaply. And it's another! It's Michael Elise! That is special! This night is special!
Oh, a bit of a cough there. So, some classic memories down the years there from Selhurst Park. Now, we are all just about 40. One of us not quite 40 yet, so this is probably going to be a bit biased from 1990 onwards because we weren't there before. But Hesketh, what you got for me? What was your first ever visit to Selhurst Park? We've talked about this on episode 0 more in depth. But,
my first game was December 1990. We beat Liverpool 1-0. Mark Bright scored in the Homestyle. I was 8, and it was one of those. Like, I'm sure I don't remember all the details, but I do remember like coming up the steps. I was in the Arthur for that game, and just being like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And then thinking that we were really good and that we'd win all the time. And to be fair, that season we were pretty good and we won most of the time. Obviously,
Were you on CBD drinks back then?
Yeah, I was just vibing from a young age. But yeah, that was my first game. It was great. It was absolutely great. It's all been downhill from there, but that's why I am who I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget the first time I walked onto the Homestyle. It was like a sense of belonging. Just this was my second home, and obviously has been ever since. I think pushing 600 games at Selhurst Park now, so it's getting up there. And also the first time that I ever went to a night game as well, and just turning the corner and just seeing the Homestyle in the dark with the lights on. I mean, I love it so much. I've got a print for which Seb took, the photographer, framed on my wall from that view. It's just one of my favourite places in the world. Albert?
Can't remember.
Yeah, we did that when we did episode 0, introducing. We gathered that it was a loose collection of games. It was somewhere around here.
It was definitely the 90-91 season, and we won 1-0 at home. I'm convinced it was against Nottingham Forest, but I'm not looking again because I'm quite sure that there wasn't a 1-0 win at home to Nottingham Forest that season.
Who scored your first goal there then? Do you remember?
In my head, Ian Wright scored. But
You sure it wasn't Tommy Mooney?
No, definitely wasn't Tommy Mooney. Yeah, I might be blending my first few games into one complete mismemory. So difficult to put a pin on it.
Yeah. It was Bruce Dyer, but for Watford.
I remember being fucking bored off my tits.
That was Palace. Yeah, it was definitely Palace.
Yeah, exactly that.
But obviously, the commentary played through there. Lots of classics down the years. Any of those standing out to you, Hesketh?
Yeah, I mean, I remember most of
The
them.
first one.
Yeah, great. Annoying that I'm the oldest one out of the three of us. Yeah, I mean, I liked a lot of those playoffs. So the Wolves playoff semi was a pretty good one. Just for how it all went a bit carnage at the end. But I think, obviously, Cristambul's one that everyone's going to remember. It was a night game, like you said. They were always quite good. Didn't even win it, but it didn't matter. You know, everything from Liverpool not really celebrating because they wanted to, you know, pad their goal difference and that, to us messing up their title hopes and seeing Suarez cry. It's pretty hard to not put that in your top 10 of Selhurst moments, really.
Gerrard pushing the camera away.
Oh, it's great. And it also never gets boring. Like whenever that, you know, it comes up at like 11 o'clock at night on Sky Sports 4 or something. Never boring. Always fun.
Yeah, I've got going back to the 97, the 97 playoff semi-final. I mean, that game is. I mean, playoff semi-final was at Selhurst.
Semi.
Just as a whole, you know, fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do. Like one of the things I miss the most about being in the Premier League really is just that those are not there so much. But when I was tweeting, when Palace asked what your memories were of the 100 years, and I posted about this game, you got some like loads of people remembering it and saying what a wonderful game it was, and then even someone. Chris saying, my granddad was in his final days at Mayday Hospital and my uncle and I made the executive decision to leave his bedside and go to the game as we decided it's what he would have wanted. So yeah, the emotions took a kick in those final minutes, which is, you know, a lovely memory, followed by Gerald saying, my late dad, who drove to each home game from Brighton, left at 1-0 so he could get his car out of the Sainsbury's car park quickly. So that is an impressive game to leave at 1-0. But I mean, the goal.
Which one was that? Sorry, the
3-1 against Wolves. So it's 1-0.
The semi. Yeah.
Yeah, your mate Shipley, talking of semis, put us 1-0 up, and then I think it goes Friedman 89, Jamie Smith literally straight from kickoff makes it 2-1, gives him the away goal, and then Friedman straight from kickoff scores again.
He pulled it back, didn't he?
He did. Jesus. Yeah. So brilliant game. That any sort of not on that commentary list that you could add in.
Playoff semi-final home leg against Watford 3-0. Where's that one?
That comes in the lows. We'll talk about some lows later. That's obviously a high. That's a high for you, obviously. Was that didn't Ashley Young score that day as well? Didn't he? Yes. And in fact, didn't Ashley Young just rip us apart?
Ripped us a new one. Yeah. Free kick?
Yeah, they definitely did score a free kick.
Yeah, I think that might have been the one that made it 3-0, where we were just all like, oh, this is over already in the first leg.
Don't worry, John Mackham will do something. I think at that point he was still in the Sainsbury's car park.
Yeah. A favourite of mine, just completely random night at Selhurst Park, was 2011-ish, 1-0 down against Coventry in like the 91st minute. And then Jermaine Easter goes bang, bang. Or was it Scannell? Scannell gets the first with like a scissor volley.
Mm-hmm.
And then Easter scores, rattling around in the Homestyle as well. There must have been by that point, about 8,000 people left in there.
Yeah.
In the ground. And my friend and, fan of the pod, John Petrie, his glasses get absolutely annihilated and he is blind as hell. So
did he lose his cocaine?
No, wasn't sunglasses. He wasn't wearing his sunglasses at night. You see.
I'd love to see someone try and get into a football stadium wearing normal glasses with bags of cocaine sellotaped on the back of the lenses. I don't know what you're on about.
I could literally see them. No, but
It's
yeah.
Canderel. It's Canderel. I'm diabetic, yeah.
Yeah, that was a brilliant one. Any other randoms for you, Hesketh? I mean, I would have obviously added the 5-0 against Brighton into that commentary stream, but there's no highlights with commentary included. In fact, the highlight standard, visual standard quality of those highlights is dreadful as well, to be honest. But.
I mean, that was obviously a good one. One that I'm going to be a bit soppy and Albert will probably take the piss. And it probably was the moment at which my now wife was like, oh, what have I done? I took her to her first Palace game in I think it was 2011. We beat Sheffield United 1-0 and Ambrose scored an absolute screamer from 30 yards out, just smashed it. Again, not a full stadium, but she was like, oh, this was quite fun. That's quite good. That was a good goal. And I was like, cool, you're locked in. You're never leaving. So it was just quite nice because I think when she first met my mum was like, oh, this Palace thing's not a hobby, right? And Vanessa was like, yeah. And my mum put her hand on Vanessa's arm and she was like, you think you know. You'll find out. So thankfully, taking her to that game, she enjoyed it and got the bug, and she's had a season ticket for 10 or 11 years, I think now. So that was quite a nice one.
Yeah. Albert, I assume yours favourite ever was the buying wide shoes in the corporate.
No. It's weird. I struggle to think of standout game. Obviously, we could talk about Kristen Ball every fucking week. That's such an amazing night. Again, it was at night. We've covered it. I'm not going to go into why it was amazing, but all my memories are sort of all the ones that stick in my head aren't necessarily because of the game was particularly good or the result was particularly good. I just remember in a formative teenage years going a lot, and credit to my brother, and I don't like to give him credit, but he used to just shout me, and because he wanted someone to go with, so he'd always shout me when you could just turn up on the day and buy a ticket back in the sort of those days. And I don't know what was it, the one memory that really stands out. It was do you remember the cup game against Sunderland midweek, and it went to extra time, and Kevin Phillips scored winner in extra time. I want to say it was the FA Cup, maybe a fourth round, maybe a fifth round. Kevin Kyle and Kevin Phillips up front, and we still talk about it to this day. It was when obviously the sort of hardcore was still in the corner of the Homesdale, and it was a cup game, so we were in there, and it was bitter fucking winter, freezing fucking cold. I'd much rather have gone out in 90 minutes than stay there for extra time. And I'll never forget we all went to get burgers at half time, and just remember us all relying on these semi-warm burgers to try and fucking give us some sort of heat and entertainment. Yeah, exactly. I just remember my dad taking a bite in his burger and just going, and then just pulling a hair out of his mouth that was straight for about 3 inches, and then it just went doing and just recoiled into his hand, and fucking we were on the floor. It's things like that. It's not necessarily the match. It's just those sort of seminal moments of your dad pulling a pube out of his mouth in the corner of the Homesdale.
Who could forget?
Who could forget?
Yeah. One of my favourite memories is on a bad day when we lost to Bristol City in the playoff semi-final at home 2-1. I think they scored an absolute stonker from 40-odd yards. But at one point, I think, we 1-0 up in that game. Did we throw away a 1-0 or did we equalise? I can't remember what it was. I think we might have equalised. But anyway, instead of breaking that goal in the corner between the Arthur Waite and the Homesdale, that would have been when the away fans were still in that corner. A Palace fan just climbed onto what was then, it was a Palace crest there, and just starts doing a big, massive banana dick motion one king side.
Am I right in saying that's when Nicky Cole played like fucking peak Maradona in that game?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that one.
Before we paid £1 million for him, just for those that weren't there. I went to the return. I remember I went to the return fixture. What was that? What would that have been? A Tuesday, Wednesday night? Ben Watson thumping the post.
Oh,
Yeah. Yep, slept in Bristol station that night, or didn't actually, just stayed awake and waited for the morning train because obviously you miss all the last ones if it goes to extra time.
You got it.
That was a grim night.
yikes.
Mm.
One thing I will say about Selhurst, though, the Athletic put a good article up this week about it from someone who isn't a Palace fan. And it's much maligned, it's hard to get to. It looks like it's made out of Lego, the away end shit, all that. It's the best fucking stadium in the world. So, whatever. I love it. It's the best.
I think it was the best stadium in the world until we removed the centenary mural from above the main stand.
Oh, that's a very good shout, actually. Get that back on there.
That harrowing image of Ian Dowie, which was pretty photorealistic, to be honest. That was the best one up there.
Do you know what? I think we've just revealed Parish's secret that's going to be the centrepiece for the new main stand.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'll give you, not necessarily a match day, but something we don't do anymore at Selhurst was the family fun day or the family open day. I've got some pictures somewhere. My brother's got them or my mum's got them of the first, whatever that was called, open day, where Simon Jordan had just taken over the club and was bowling round in a bright red blazer, and the aforementioned Steve Bruce was there as well at one point, and we've got pictures of us with Simon Jordan and Steve Bruce, and that's something I think we should try and bring back, the family open day at Selhurst Park. And I remember the next summer when obviously Trevor Francis had come in. Remember, you could go into the home dressing room to meet Trevor Francis, and obviously the home dressing room's probably the fucking size of my living room. That's not me bragging about having a big living room. And just walking in there, and Trevor Francis was just sat in there like just sat on his own, like he wasn't meant to be there. And bless him, I know he's not with us anymore, just being the most miserable fucking, I don't want to be here. Hello, mate, you're right, yeah. Just like, all right, Trev, up the Palace. Yeah, all right, mate. Bring back the family fun day.
Yeah. Player of the year events on the pitch in under a gazebo. Very nice back.
Oh, yes.
Forget your boxing.
Exactly. We've had some listeners writing in. Tony Stewart, has to be Palace first Coventry in 2011, last minute equaliser and winner. Wanted to go late night drinking after it. The only place left open was the Black Sheep bar with a drum and bass night. Classic.
Yep.
John Robert said, two first names, 29th of April 2000, Crystal Palace 2, Blackburn 1. Matt Janssen not celebrating when scoring for Blackburn. Ashley Cole scoring from outside the box. Lee Carsley sent off. Clinton's header kept Palace's academy kids, loans and oldies up. Steve Coppell threw his jacket into the Homesdale. Chris Waters, Sasa with a placard around the pitch. Or the pitch invaders against Bradford. I was like, pitch invaders? Turns out he meant streakers when the two sisters streaked around Selhurst. Don't see streakers these days, do you?
Albert, don't get any ideas.
Did get a bloke chugging a beer on the few years back, pitch invader, classic.
That was great.
Jack here has said Jimmy Mack's winner against Albert's team.
He's not said that. You've said that.
Typical Palace.
What about the parachutist coming in and clattering into the advertising hoardings?
Fuck yeah!
Oh my
Jesus.
God!
Remember that?
Memory.
Yes, I do remember that. Oh my goodness! Wow. Health and safety went all sorts of wrong there.
Jeez.
Coming in hot.
Terry Byfield running around like a blue ass fly, wondering what to do.
Nearly dropped his small microphone.
Typical Palace. I will get to your tweet. Spider soon to be Tango Man streaking. The flatterer. John Burridge's acrobatics warm ups. Tony Finnegan, Andy Gray, Ian Wright, Mark Bright warming up together. Jim Cannon, George Wood, Gavin Neblin, and Mickey Droyer warming up together, but very separately. Sign of the times and things that have been talked about since. Quite a few people have obviously written in saying Chris Ball, including Callum. We've got Michael Brockman and said, sneaking into the stadium and sitting in a director's box on my lunch break during my work experience at the club in 2008. God, what times do work experience there? Peter Taylor era.
Worst shirt ever.
Got a bollocking from security, but the seats are pretty comfy. Chris Windsor, a friend of the pod, has said, dancing with you in a short skirt and pom-poms. Barnsley 2011 for Sport Relief.
Not on my list.
Yeah, low light.
Yeah, who's that? So that was like me, Chris Windsor, and then FYP boys were on there as well.
I remember that. I was there.
Yeah, it was funny because I didn't think there was any humour in the routine. We just thought it was going to be shit. But when we all lined up, so all the girls lined up on one side and did the perfect like legs can type thing, and then we followed them in turn and like on the opposite side of the centre circle, and the whole stadium just chuckled. And it was like, yeah, very good.
All for a good cause.
It was all for a good cause, and we did. I think we were the team that raised the most money in Sport Relief that year or something. It went down really, really well. Good experience. And then on Blue Sky, I had an interesting one here from 6-3 against Stoke. That was a
classic.
All aboard on the commentary on the season DVD. Remember?
Yep. John Terry own goal. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then not a favourite, but Freeman getting sent off last game of the season and being suspended for the playoff final. In 1998, Tommy Black getting sent off in a mid-season friendly against the Baggio's Brescia, which I missed completely. That's something
Good memory.
Going to have to look into.
What about Michael Hughes taking out the referee? I want to say it was against West Brom at home.
Yeah.
Bless you.
That is my wife sneezing in the background over all of that.
Was she allergic to banter?
Yeah, and then Carl was said sprinting down the pitch when Ian Wright nodded in against Blackburn to make it 3-0 to get promotion and excellence. And then what about some lows to end on? Because why would we end on highs? We've got to end on some lows, haven't we? I mean, none of us were obviously there, but the early 80s under Mullery with about 3,000 people in Selhurst Park must have been some time to be alive as a Palace fan. We've talked about the playoff semi-final losses. I've put the entire Peter Taylor era.
Yep.
Simon Jordan selling with bought the stadium t-shirts has got to be up there with.
Yeah, that's definitely up there.
3-0 up against Stockport, ending 3-3.
Oh,
remember that?
Special.
Remember that?
Gillingham 4-0.
Scunthorpe 4-0.
Sorry, Scunthorpe.
Yeah, you was in the right ballpark with scores. Was that the one where they fought over the penalty as well and they missed it? Was it
Freddie Sears.
Freddie Sears ghost goal? Yeah.
And there was another one that I was talking to someone at work about today. It was a 3-0 against Wimbledon because he mentioned Valerian Ismail and Cole Leaburn scored twice. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. It wasn't like within like 2 years Cole Leaburn like a bouncer at nightclubs. That's how like shit he was. But he scored 2 goals.
100% Cole Leaburn's career highlight was that game.
And in recent years, 4-0 down at half time against Sunderland.
Yep.
I mean, that is about as bad as it can possibly get, ending up with fans on the pitch trying to fight Damien Delaney. So, Delaney not backing down, obviously. Yeah.
Liverpool 7, Palace 0.
Well, at least we weren't there for that one.
Yeah, it don't count. Didn't happen.
They should have kept Carl on. Carl was there.
Yeah.
Posing as a groundsman. Yeah. I think it's okay to say that now. Oh, Carl. Well, I suppose we could end on some highs and talk about the halftime challenges on my shed son.
Yeah.
Classic.
They think it's all over.
A game of 2 baths.
Excellent stuff. Great memories.
The crossbar challenge was the original and the best.
Especially when the person had a big build-up and then slipped and the ball went about 2 yards.
Yeah.
Always
Keep
good.
your high and die.
What, the Mitsubishi halftime challenge wasn't quite a crossbar
so-
challenge, was it? You had to get it over the board into the goal. Was that it?
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
you're right.
Penalty,
Yeah, you're
6-yard box, penalty spot, edge of the D.
Did it not
centre line.
start out as a crossbar challenge?
I don't know what. Just putting fans on the pitch, trying to get them to hit the crossbar from the
Yeah.
halfway line.
Yeah.
It might have done. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, still life in the old girl yet. We're obviously not moving anywhere. Main stand's going to go up, so I'm sure we'll be there for another 50 years yet. It will outlive us, all of us, that's for sure. And I mean, I don't see how you do anything else with it. What are you going to do with the half away with a row of terraced houses behind it? What are you going to do with the Homesdale?
Turn it into a massive Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
Flip it on them.
Flip it on them. Even now they've converted sorted the bot underneath of the Homesdale out. They've got rid of the lake that's under there and built the away changing rooms and so on. So we're entrenched into Selhurst Park, and long may it continue. People might want to call it a shithole. It's our shithole. Don't care.
Yeah.
Wouldn't swap it for any other football stadium in the entire world. Okay. Thanks to everyone for listening. We'll be back next week with a bit of a build up to Leicester and what other nonsense my brain dreams up between now and then. Hesketh, Albert, Thank you. Thanks to everyone who listened. Thanks to everyone who listened to last week and made it our most successful pod to date in terms of listeners.
For fuck's sake.
Well, I mean, yeah. You were on the other one that got overtaken, so...
If you did listen for the first time last week and you're listening again, thanks. Tell a mate, otherwise Albert's going to start to spiral.
If only I had a coconut and fucking raspberry sour beer.
Exactly. That's what brought in the listeners. But so thanks to everyone who listened last week, and if you were new last week and you stayed with us, hope you enjoyed it. Keep coming back. Tell people.
No, sorry.
Brilliant. And so back next week. For normal time, I think we'll be recording Wednesday next week. So back to normal next week. So until then, up the Palace. Welcome. Welcome.
Whoa, keep it. Just go with it. Welcome. Welcome, one and all. A warm welcome to everyone listening to Wimpin' It.